What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com, covering your Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm here to break down the Chiefs' 23-20 walk-off victory in overtime over the Indianapolis Colts, my reaction, and more right after this. Ladies and gentlemen of the Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back into another post-game breakdown here on the Show Me Football YouTube show. Before we get into things, I do kindly ask you all to please like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell as well for future Chiefs content on this channel. But without further ado, let's get into things. So, just going to give you all my raw thoughts, my notes from today's much-needed victory over the Indianapolis Colts. And the first thing that I will start off with is I am not going to complain about a win right now, no matter how ugly, because they've been hard to come by this year for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were able to grab one over a very good Indianapolis Colts team. So no complaints from me. A win is a win. Not complaining about a win over the Colts, who were 8-2 coming into this game, fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC. This is a team that had the best offense in the league coming into this game. And I want to start on the defensive side of the football for the Kansas City Chiefs, because they're the ones that really stepped up in this game. They did. They forced a season high number of punts from the Indianapolis Colts in this game. And that's just really surprising given how this defense looked helpless the previous week versus Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos' inconsistent offense. I mean, they got just about whatever they wanted, and most of that was because of the Chiefs' inability to get to the quarterback, which is something that I've talked about all season long. And yes, guys, it was an issue again today where the Chiefs' pass rush just was not able to get to Daniel Jones. I mean, the only defensive lineman you can really say showed up in this game was Chris Jones. And since the bye week, you cannot say that guy is not committed to winning and that he is not pulling his weight. I know there was a lot of trash talking on Chris Jones from Chiefs fans early in the season. That needs to stop now. Chris Jones has been playing with his hair on fire for the past 2 weeks, and he was banged up today. I mean, you saw them working on his back on the sideline. He was wearing a back brace, but yet he was still doing everything he could to will the Chiefs to a victory in this game. The other guys on this defensive line can't say the same thing about them. George Karlaftis still looks like a guy that we overpaid. And over again, I've been told that contract will look good in a few years. Well, I'm talking about right now. George Karlaftis looks like an average at best player. And I feel like if one of the first things we're saying about a guy when they get a huge extension is, oh, it will look good in a few years, that's just a nice way of saying that they weren't worth the money. And so far this season, George Karlaftis, has shown that he's not worth the money. I mean, his only pass rush move seems to be trying to go around the tackle and then maybe occasionally try to cut back inside. But 90% of the time, that gets stonewalled. So with the pass rush struggling, Spags decided to bring the blitz. He did it a lot, but he also did it at a point where it was timely. And when he did, Daniel Jones was flustered. I mean, defensively, they didn't look good early, but as the game went on and Spags decided to bring more of the blitz and he realized Daniel Jones wasn't responding well to it, the Chiefs were able to get off the field consistently. But also, I mean, these situations weren't possible without the Chiefs holding Jonathan Taylor to just 58 yards rushing. I mean, that was one of the keys. You could not let Jonathan Taylor run all over you and collect those first downs and just make life easier for Daniel Jones in the passing offense. I mean, really, the Colts' leading receiver was, Ashton Dolan, who had one catch for 48 yards. That was in the first half. It was going up against Jamari Connor. Take a drink if you've heard that before. And a lot of the struggles early in the game were the Chiefs just holding on to those old tendencies that we've already discovered don't work, like Jamari Connor in coverage down the field. I mean, it just doesn't work, Spags. I mean, and so many points throughout this game where it felt like the Chiefs were going to lose. It just I was thinking to myself, like, if they lose and it looks like they're going to miss the playoffs, I'm ready for the turnover. I'm ready for new blood in the coaching staff. I'm ready for major roster turnover because it's just too much of the same guys. It's too much value, importance placed on players that simply are not capable because Spags has an affinity for them, because Andy Reid has an affinity for them, because Brett Veach refused to do anything about that. And we'll get a little bit more into that later on in this video. But credit where it's due, Spags and this defense tightened up. Still, the pass rush remains an issue, but overall, the defense had a very solid day. The Colts only had 10 first downs in this game. They were very lucky to even be in this game, being that poor on first down. And really, the Chiefs didn't allow that many points in this game. They allowed below 20 points. But of course, Patrick Mahomes and that really bad interception that he threw, and I'll go a little bit more in depth on that when I talk about the offensive side of the football, but that gifted the Colts a touchdown. Outside of that, man, this defense, they did what they needed to do. Chris Jones stepped up. You know, your secondary really stepped up outside of Chamari Connor. I thought the secondary did a really good job. They forced a lot of incompletions. That's what you needed to do against a team like this that is super hot right now. Best offense in the league. Spags gave your team a chance to win this game. He gave the offense a chance against the number one offense in the league. That's all you can ask for. Now, I do want to talk about the offensive side of the football, and that's where more of the negatives will kind of creep in, because usually I say the second half for the negatives, but in this video, I'm switching it up a little bit. I'm going defense and then talking about offense. But before I do that, I do want to take an opportunity to show you all a message from our partners on this channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not heard of W Energy, then you are absolutely missing out right now, as W Energy has taken the energy drink market by storm with their new unique flavors and jitterless energy blend. W Energy is a powered energy drink that replaces other inferior caffeine beverages. It contains 0 harmful chemicals, 0 fillers, 0 artificial colors or dyes, and no proprietary blends. The star of the show is their coffee fruit extract, which helps you focus without the jitter or crash of other energy drinks out in the market. If you're like me, I've relied on caffeine to get me going about my day in the past, but thanks to W Energy, I now have a new, healthier alternative. And not only that, but it tastes absolutely amazing. They just sent me their new Japanese yuzu flavor, and it's got that sweet citrus fruit taste. It's one of the better tasting energy drinks I've ever had. W Energy is what's been keeping me powered lately, especially throughout this rough stretch for the Kansas City Chiefs. But best of all, guys, you can get an additional 10% off your W order using my promo code down in the description. Go ahead, click that link, go get your W order, and then put in the promo code SHOWMEFB for an additional 10% off. W is absolutely amazing. I love what they've been sending me so far. And best of all, guys, you can go and take advantage of that discount. So go get your W. Go check them out. They're going to be partnered with me all football season long. Ditch the caffeine. Go W. So there you guys have it. Definitely go ahead and take advantage of that sale by using the link down in the description below. Get 10% off your W order. But with all that being said, let's get back to the post-game breakdown. Offensively, the Kansas City Chiefs still just look out of sorts. And it's really frustrating because it looked like they were finally getting into rhythm once they got Rashee Rice back and they put up a bunch of points versus the Las Vegas Raiders and the Washington Commanders. And you're like, okay, this will play. Like, this offense is fun again. You know, the wide receivers are making plays. The offensive line with Josh Sims at left tackle, although he was out for a little bit, you had Jalen Moore in there still. He filled in admirably. Like, okay, this is going somewhere. This offense is one that can carry you to victories. That really hasn't been the case as of recently. And coming off the bye week, it doesn't look any better. And it just looks like they don't believe in themselves to get it done. I mean, 1 for 5 in the red zone, it's bad. It's really bad, and it just cannot happen. And it gotta have. I mean, you have to think about their season was on the line, and they knew that for this game. I mean, last week it was the AFC West. Okay, they lose that, and it's like, well, you're probably not winning the division this year, but like, you can still get in the dance. That's still in front of you. If they can't rise to that occasion, well, then, I mean, to hell with this season, but they knew that this was a must-win game, and it still didn't even look like they just had anything. I mean, multiple 3-and-outs in clutch time in situations where you're like, okay, they're going to go down the field here and score. No, it just didn't happen. Way too many penalties, execution errors. That's been an issue all season long. Mahomes, I mean, didn't have his best game. He threw for over 300 yards, but no passing touchdowns. And then the inexcusable interception that I talked about earlier, I said I would go more in depth on it. You just can't have it in that spot. And they basically, like I said, gifted the Colts a touchdown. But you notice that interception occurred on an RPO where Mahomes pulled and decided to throw, and the linebacker was all over it. And this goes back to what I've been saying all season about the running game, about the running back room. On an RPO, the defense was not fooled. They are not fooled. They will not be fooled because they do not respect your ability to run the ball. They know that Mahomes is going to pull it and he's going to throw the ball. And they were right, and they were all over it. And that's why they were able to cause that interception on the Mahomes pass deflection. It's just like, man, if you had a running back that actually mattered to teams instead of trotting out Clyde Edwards-Helaire in 2025, and you guys knew I was going to hit on it because, again, and this is the last time I'm going to say this, but I was told several times when the Chiefs signed CEH to the practice squad after roster cutdowns, and I made a video about it, and I posted about it on social media about how this is ridiculous, how this guy is still getting run in the NFL, how he's still clinging on to this team because of the Chiefs' refusal to move on from bad football players. And I had a bunch of angry commenters on both the YouTube video, on the social media saying, there's no reason to be upset about this. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is the 6th running back. He'll never play. This is for his health benefits, and, stuff like that. And lo and behold, here we are. The season is on the line for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's clutch time, 4th quarter. And the Chiefs are giving the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and it's going for a loss of yards. You deserve to lose. Like I was saying that all game long. Every time CEH got a touch, you deserve to lose because this is what you're trotting out in the year of 2025. This is your running back room is Kareem Hunt and CEH. And I understand Pacheco got injured, but you had a chance to acquire a running back in the deadline. But that's why the Dameon Pierce signing is so huge. And I just made a video on that, posted it last night. Definitely go ahead and check that out if you haven't yet. It will be at the end on the screen. You can click on it, go watch. But man, it's just like, why can we not move past these players that just give you nothing? CEH had 5 carries today, averaged 1.6 yards per carry. Season is on the line, and you're giving the ball to Clyde. It's mind-boggling. I'm done with it. I'm sick of that shit. Sorry, excuse me. But that's just how I feel about that. You cannot be doing that in a gotta-have-it game, playoffs basically on the line. But in the end, Patrick Mahomes, despite the wide receivers not being able to beat man coverage, was able to do Mahomes things and move around in order for the wide receivers to get open, was able to find Rashee Rice just enough. Also, Xavier Worthy, shout out, made a very clutch play in the 4th quarter to get the Chiefs not only a first down, but very close, if not in field goal range, so that Butker could at least tie the game up. That was a huge play. But Rashee Rice really was the man that came alive in the second half for the Chiefs offense and allowed them to move the ball a bit more. They were 7 of 16 on 3rd down. The Chiefs had, 33 first downs. I mean, holy cow, that's a lot of first downs. That's really good. Please keep doing that. Now you just have to convert in the red zone. We have to figure that part out. And it's really frustrating because Patrick Mahomes even said in his pregame interview on the sidelines with Tracy Wolfson, we want to score in the red zone today. And yet they still can't do that. And I don't know what the mind block is there for this team, not being able to score in the red zone. There's so many times where you watch them and they're able to move the ball, and then they get in the red zone and it's just like nothing. Now, granted, they did score a touchdown And then it got called back due to a Juwan Taylor face mask penalty, which we all saw wasn't actually a face mask. That's not on Juwan Taylor. That sucks. And you know, with Juwan Taylor's reputation, that the rest were going to throw that. And it's just unfortunate. But if you give the Chiefs that touchdown that should have stood, and you take away the bad, inexcusable Patrick Mahomes interception that gifted the Colts a TD, the Chiefs really ran away with this game. Statistically, they dominated the Colts. They had more yards than them on offense, 494 to their 255, basically 500 yards of total offense. They averaged 5.4 yards per play. They were better on third down, held the Colts to just 5 of 13 on third down, only 10 first downs. The Chiefs statistically dominated this game. And time of possession, the Chiefs held the ball for 42 minutes. And even in that first half, like, that's what made this game so hard to watch, is in the first half, the Chiefs held the ball for most of that first half, and yet they only mustered 9 points. A field goal every single trip to the red zone. It's got to be better than that. And I know I just said that the Juwan Taylor penalty, was not his fault, but penalties were still an issue today outside of Juwan Taylor. You have to clean that up, because there was another very bad Kingsley Suamataia penalty in the red zone, that a blindside block that backed him up 15 yards. Cannot do it, cannot have it. Again, in a must-win game for this team. But the game ball is shared between Rashee Rice as well as Kareem Hunt, who had a turn back the clock game, as I like to call it. Over 100 yards in this game, and he had the fumble. It was a very badly timed fumble. Kareem Hunt typically does not fumble, but of course it happens at the worst time when the Chiefs were in the red zone again. But he bounced back. He answered the call. The Chiefs were successful once again running the ball from under center, and they need to keep doing that. And Tony Romo called it out multiple times on the broadcast. Stop the shotgun runs. They do not work for this team. Their running backs are not explosive enough. But when they went under center and they handed that ball to Kareem Hunt, and they said, go run behind our interior offensive line, he was great. He was magnificent. He was great in short yardage again. Broadcast highlighted it. The Kareem Hunt short yardage run has been more successful than the Eagles tush push this year. That's how good Kareem Hunt and this Chiefs team has been, running the ball under center with Kareem Hunt. But I think the most important thing now, because Kareem Hunt had 30 carries in this game, 30 touches, more than 30 touches, actually, I think. That can't happen. He's too old for that. He should not be getting that big of a load on offense. I mean, I know it was effective, but it's just not sustainable. So the important thing is that you picked up Dameon Pierce, who I talked about in that video from last night. That's why I think that's so huge, is because if Pacheco is going to continue to just have these injuries here and there, you need someone in this running back room behind Kareem Hunt that isn't as much of a drop-off as Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Dameon Pierce takes Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the field, which is a good thing. I mean, that's a win no matter what. But also, I think Dameon Pierce provides someone that's explosive, athletic. He's a running back that has home run ability, which no one else in this room has. He has long runs of 92 and 75 yards over the last 3 seasons with the Texans before coming to Kansas City. We do not have a running back that's capable of that, but he's capable of that. And now he's on this team. You need to get him involved, because that could give Kareem Hunt a much needed breather and someone that actually makes defenses respect your ability to run again. I don't know which version of Dameon Pierce this team will get, but you got to try, man. You got to try with him. And I appreciate the Chiefs taking that swing, because you needed something there bad. You needed to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire off the field, because that's just a joke. And Kareem Hunt, this type of offense isn't sustainable. So if Isaiah Pacheco is going to continue to take time to come back, then that's a huge signing in my opinion. So yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, you look at the stats, Chiefs dominated this game. It's good to get a win no matter what, no matter how ugly. They walk it off in overtime. Man, you're staying alive, right? You're still alive. You're still in the playoff hunt now with this win. And this is a big confidence boost win, I think, too, for this team, because this isn't beating up on a bad Raiders team. This isn't beating the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. Like, this is a legit win over one of the best teams in the NFL, the best offense in the NFL. That is worth something. And I hope this can give the Chiefs some momentum going forward. Now, if there's one more negative before I end this video, Dave Toub What are you doing? What do you do? What do you provide for this team? I had to make some time to talk about this because Dave Toub, in his press conference earlier this week, he was asked about how the president did not like the new kickoff. They asked Dave Toub's thoughts about it, and Dave Toub basically went off on Donald Trump. And I'm not trying to get political in this video, but for Dave Toub to come out and call out the president like that and go after him and say he doesn't know what he's talking about, he doesn't know what he's looking at. Dave Toub, do you know what you're looking at? Do you know what you're doing? Because this special teams unit is easily the worst in the entire league, at least when you look at it from a discipline aspect. There is a flag on every single return. Nico Remigio is running backwards on every single return. He's fielding punts that he shouldn't be fielding. What is going on, man? Get your head out of your you-know-what and fix this stuff. I've been sick of Dave Toub's special teams for years, but I mean, I've about had it. And that press conference that I saw from him earlier in the week just really made my blood boil because Dave Toub hasn't been good enough at his job to be acting like that, if we're being completely honest. So not to end the video on an angry note after a clutch, much needed win, but shoot, man, that's just, so yeah, Chiefs get a much needed win over the Colts. Definitely want to hear from you guys down in the comments below what your thoughts are on this game. Still a lot of stuff to clean up, but I mean, Chiefs took care of business, did what they needed to do, find a win, any means necessary. That's all I got for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. And as always, go Chiefs.